people always have this question, right? Mind is going here, mind is going there, this and
Yeah,
that.
do japa and all those things,
Hmm.
and sometimes you see that you are thinking something else, and
Yes. 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 That's correct. Well, there's a lot of answers to that, but the most straightforward way to deal with that is to increase the mahima. अ, हमारे अंतर में जो महात्म्य है भगवान का, that needs to increase. Meaning what? I'll give you a simple example. When a young couple is about to get married, they're in the marriage hall and they're about to get married, right? And so they haven't gotten married yet, so everything is ready, and you know, and all they are thinking of each other. Isn't it so? Even like 1 or 2 days before, there's so much excitement. Everything else is going on too. For many days, many weeks, there's a natural current from inside that I'm, thinking of the other person, feeling for the other person, other activities going on, but there's a deeper current inside of love and excitement and wonder and just amazement. This happens in different aspects of life, but it doesn't happen all the time, and it happens only sometimes, and it happens for limited period of time. ये हमारा अनुभव है. Even like if you're going to go on a trip somewhere, say, "Oh, I haven't been to Hawaii. I'm going to Alaska. I'm so excited." This and that. There's such a natural absorption in that experience. That use that as an example, that ability. We have that ability for natural absorption. It's not about doing sadhana, it's being absorbed in sadhana. There's a big difference. बहुत फर्क है इसमें. बहुत फर्क है. It's like, okay, Sachin says, "Oh, I have to do this so many jobs. I have to do this today. I have to do that." Okay, चलता है. ठीक है, that's still all right. That's a good place to begin. But that is really still going to create eventually boredom, fluctuation, बहुत कुछ होता है इसमें. There's another way. It's called असाधारण महिमा. In Gujarati, this word is used in वचनामृत में लिखा है महाराज ने. And उन्होंने गोपिका का दृष्टांत, he's given the example of the gopikas. They just had this extraordinary, intense recognition of Sri Krishna, and that love just never stopped from inside. So there's no statement in Bhagavatam, which is 18,000 verses, of them opening scriptures, reading Upanishads, doing this. ऐसे बहुत ज्ञानी थे, maybe from past lives or something. But in the life that they were just maidens. They're all the householder women, actually. For the most part, they're all women, and they could not stop thinking of Krishna. What is that? That is the goal. It's not about scriptures. It's not about how much sadhana. It's certainly not about how much mantra japa. It's not about quantity. It is about the intensity of natural absorption. See this point. It's an excellent question, Deviji. And this question shows that you're doing sadhana. It shows that आप एक sincere साधक है, that you are trying to go in that direction. That's why this question comes. बाकी ये प्रश्न आता ही नहीं. तो बहुत सुंदर प्रश्न है, पर इसका रियल उत्तर it is this kind of state. And that state comes as we travel the path, we begin to taste the amrutam. अमृत का अनुभव होता है इसमें. It happens at some point as we continue our sadhana further, as the influences of Maya reduce, that even a drop of that amrit is tasted, then that will increase our absorption. It's like that. It's like that bhajan Rama Rasa Piya. That what is that? Rama Rasa ऐसो है मेरे भाई, जो कोई पीवे अमर हो जाए. ऊंचा ऊंचा सब कोई चाले, नीचा न चाले कोई, नीचा नीचा जो कोई चाले, सबसे ऊंचा वो, मीठा मीठा सब कोई खाए, कड़वा न खाए कोई, कड़वा कड़वा जो कोई खाए, सबसे मीठा. कबीर जी का भजन है ये. So the rasa, the raso vaisah, इसमें क्या होता है देवी जी? शास्त्रों का मनन चिंतन करना, इसमें भी बहुत रस है. एक ज्ञान योग में, it is matter of realizing what is one's predominant rasa. What a beautiful question you asked. You know, what is the predominant rasa? Is the rasa नहीं भगवान की मूर्ति का दर्शन करना है, उनकी मूर्ति अंतर में रखनी है, और भजन कीर्तन मनन चिंतन और बहुत भजन करने हैं. इसकी तृप्ति नहीं हो. तृप्ति means satisfaction. That there's no satisfaction inside. That that's enough. Yeah, it is true. Psychologically, we have to change the forms of devotion. You cannot just do mantra jap, without doing any other bhakti. You change it. Do mantra jap for some time, but then do another. It's like two people who are in love. They cannot just be talking about the same thing. Then they say, okay, let's go for a walk. Let's go for dinner. Now let's go for a trip. Let's do this. But I want to do it with you. I cannot look forward to. I'm looking forward to doing all these things with you. I'm doing them with you, but they're all going to change. Let's have dinner together. Let's sleep together. Let's walk together. Let's talk together. Let's hold hands together. Let's produce children together. Let's go on long trips together. Let's grow old together. Isn't it so? This is exactly our experience. But every connection, every experience that the couple has changes. They cannot just sleep together for their whole life. No, for a few hours, and then they get up. Then they say, no, okay, let's have a conversation. They love to be together in the same home, even if they are away from each other physically, distance-wise. Heart is not away. Something happens, oh, how are you doing? Text me, this and that. Everything okay. Even if they don't talk to each other, text to each other for 10 hours, 2-3 days even for some reason, which is unlikely. They'll say, how are you doing? I'm thinking of you so much. I'm missing you. See this? This is called love. This is what we call at the human level. Same thing. Exactly the same thing with Paramatma. Bhagwan ke साथ. Exactly the same thing. Bhagwan ke साथ संबंध जोड़ना. This is what it means. That the love for the Lord, love for God, like Jesus says, love thy Lord with all thy heart, all thy mind, all thy soul. How beautiful. Kitni sundar baat. Matthew 22. बहुत सुंदर बात है. By the way, this thing that he is the first of the two greatest commandments. And he took them from the Old Testament. Old Testament has over 600 commandments. We talk about 10 commandments. It's not like that. That's fine. There's over 600. But he pulled this saransh, उन्होंने निकाला. तो पूरा प्रेम भगवान के साथ करना. कितनी सुंदर बात. And so that happens. But again, it doesn't happen just because Sachin said so or somebody said so, or because we read some scripture, Bhakti Rasamrut Sindhu, thoda mandir mein hum gaye, thoda satsang attend kiya. So now all of a sudden we are just going to be 24 hours linked with Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Ram. Aisa nahi hota. It doesn't happen like that. Wo jo sthiti hai, what we're talking about. Yeah, if we want that, we have to increase its glory. It is glory be to God, as in Christianity. उनका महिमा क्या है, वो कौन है, और श्रद्धा की बात है. It's a matter of श्रद्धा, that this is भगवान इतने बड़े हैं, इतने महान है, और उनके साथ जब प्रेम हो जाता है, तो then something very special happens. It is very difficult to describe. इसका description कर नहीं सकते. भगवान के साथ प्रेम और अचल प्रेम. Achal means unmoving love. That love that is not disturbed. So उसमें सब सद्गुण आ जाते. बहुत कुछ होता है इसमें. It is very difficult to describe it all. But the simple, straightforward answer, mahatmya, mahima. Asadharan, extraordinary mahima. If that is there, that भगवान ऐसे है, भगवान ऐसे, हमारी वृत्ति वहाँ ही रहेगी. You'll never come out of that vritti. Yeah, the more worldly example, someone who is, has $500 billion, this is a financial example. You cannot forget that. For you, doesn't matter, a person is going to Taco Bell. Just imagine somebody who has $500 billion goes to Taco Bell and orders, a bean burrito. And somebody who is having on food stamps and has barely any money is ordering a bean burrito. They're sitting next to each other. What is the difference in their internal experience of the burrito? फर्क क्या है इसमें? They're both sitting next to each other. They're dressed the same. They even look the same race, same age, everything, let's say. फर्क क्या है? One person has only $200 in the bank account. The other person has $500 billion in the bank account. फर्क क्या है? The burrito's not different. They're both, let's say they're both equally even healthy. But the entire state of antakarana is different. The person eating the bean burrito who has $500 billion, the enjoyment, excitement, the freedom from inside, the antar ka jo anubhav hai, from in connection to the object outside, it is at a totally different level. Now, but person not going to show that outwardly so much. Internally, they're super rich from inside. But the object outside, the two people are eating this, having the same object. So the richness and this is called mahima. To know, to be aware of who one is. This is the point that is being made in the Upanishad. You are Brahman. You are not this small, foolish being, with all these small things going on. It's like that person on food stamps has only $200 and is living in a dilapidated place. What if that person is also a $500 billion person, but has totally forgotten? Smriti nahi hai, is roaming around in this world with no knowledge of who they are. This is the situation of the Jivatma. Jeev Dasha isko kehte hai. Roaming around as beggars in this sansar. Begging after these panchvishayas. It's the biggest slavery. And roaming around as aham brahmasmi. Kya farak hai isme? Amazing baat hai. और भगवान के भक्त हैं हम. कितनी बड़ी बात है. किसके भक्त है? वो कौन है? This is called महिमा. इसको महिमा कहते हैं. हम कौन है और वो कौन है? There are so many pujaris in this world. Ramakrishna Paramahansa जैसे एक भी पुजारी हो गए? Ramakrishna Paramahansa was employed as a pujari only by Rani Rasmani. But look at the devotion inside. Mahima, isko Mahatma kehte hai. He's seeing Devi Kalika as actually his mother. He's talking to her. He's linked with her. Devotion, he's not just, there's such intense love. Shri Radhika ji towards Sri Krishna, Mirabai towards Sri Krishna, Tulsidas ji towards Bhagavan Ram, Jesus' disciples towards Jesus, Guru Nanak Dev towards the supreme reality. That is the key. Is it available for us? It's available for everybody. This is why we do satsang every day, just to awaken, to get to this point. Once that happens, once Gnan, Vairagya, Bhakti, see these things, once we get a glimpse of them, kya baat? Iska varnan nahi kar sakte. It is drinking amrutam. It is drinking amrutam. It is not describable. And we are doing that. It is not that we are not doing it. We're doing it in whatever way we are able to up to this point. But a point comes where our senses, our mind, our indriyas, etc., are naturally tuned to the absorptive frequency of Parabrahma. Just like the $500 billion person, using the worldly example, it doesn't matter. A person is awake, person is sleeping. When the person gets up, that force is inside that. Who am I? मेरे पास क्या है? आज क्या करना है इसके साथ? प्रश्न ये रहता है कि क्या करना है इसके साथ? Not about becoming wealthy. See the difference. हमारे पास भगवत गीता है, for example. भगवत गीता है, वचनामृत है, शिक्षापत्री है, ये सब शास्त्रों है, ये सब बड़े संत है. बस उसका रस, the more we drink, that what we have, क्या मिल गया है? Is that, my God, this is so extraordinary. That what to do with this now? If we have $500 billion, the person who wakes up with $500 billion every day, what do I do with this today? Yeah, you can do what you want almost, except breaking certain laws and all that. You don't have to look at price tag for almost anything. क्या price tag देखेंगे? Something costs $10,000, क्या प्रश्न है? Something costs $100,000, it's a drop in the ocean. Something cost $1 million, no issue. Something cost 5 million, koi prashna nahi. See this, see that intense force. See this analogy. Similarly, one who is holding the Gita inside, living whatever seva, whatever life we are living, if you're holding it inside, you know what that is like? Iska, again, description is impossible. It is Maha Ananda, Maha Gnana. But it is a matter of opening that treasure chest. We don't know how to open it. That's the problem. That is what we're trying to do every single day here, is to open this extraordinary treasure that is actually our Atma Tattva, Brahma Tattva. But it is not getting opened that easily because of the blockages of blockages of the ego, blockages that are within. That's why. Otherwise, it's right there. It's already there. This is the point. So what is the anubhav in that? The Jnana, Vairagya, Dharma, Bhakti. Dharma, Jnana, Vairagya, Bhakti. These four. Which iska jo combination hai, when a person opens this dimension from inside, there is the opening in, there's so much that happens. But the first thing that happens is that there is absolute harmony in life, number one. Number two, there is the opening of Ananda. The drops of nectar, they begin to open. Amrutam, Amruta Bindu, they begin to open. And that is Amrutam, that is divine joy. Divya Prem, Divya Ananda. This is very difficult to describe. How does a person describe? Let me ask you, I'll put it to you this way. If you have an individual who has $500 billion and there is a 7-year-old child sitting next to, if it's his own child only, how does that person explain to that 7-year-old child what is $500 billion? How is that possible? That person, the child doesn't have any capacity to understand that. The child has to grow. And then when the child is in their 20s, maybe 20, 25, at some point, that understanding will come. Who is my father? Unke paas kya hai? Wo kaun hai? Otherwise, he's roaming around, just crying around for small things. But iska baap kaun hai? Iske paas kya power hai? ऐसी बात है कि जो बड़े-बड़े संत हो गए, जो हमारे जो गुरुदेव है, for example, वो कितने बड़े, this is important thing. So this happened in my life. I had opportunity to meet very extraordinary saints and whatnot. कितनी महानता है उनमें. This is what we want to be like. Whatever. So, और भगवान का महिमा तो अपरंपार है. वो कितना महिमा है. Even if you look at the things like these बीज mantras and all that. Aim बीज मंत्र की साधना करेंगे. Aim स्वाहा. इतनी महा सरस्वती देवी. इसमें पूरे शास्त्र का पूरी millions of scriptures are inside this one बीज mantra. How is this possible? ये क्या है? It is a matter of अनुभव. श्रद्धा में से ज्ञान मिलता है, ज्ञान में से अनुभव. And that is how. We're using language, using words. When a point comes, language is not there anymore. There is only अनुभव. और वो अनुभव कैसा है? When you are sitting in ध्यान, it's not even doing ध्यान anymore. 24 hours, that realization is there. And in that realization, activity is performed. Just as a person who has got $500 billion, they perform this activity. They might go to Taco Bell or they might go to a massively expensive restaurant. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? They might go to very elaborate parties, and they might also go to very, very ordinary people and interact with them. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? It doesn't make difference to them as far as their glory. फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता. That जो वृत्ति है, that internal bhav that is there, it doesn't matter. The experiences are obviously of all kinds. Again, these analogies are crude. They're not exactly the perfect analogy. But it is something like this, that if we have a $500 billion check with us, we have not deposited that. that means that is called Bhagvat Nishta. When you deposit that check, that is called साक्षात्कार. कि भगवान की जो मूर्ति है उसको डिपॉजिट कर देना अंतर में. भगवान की जो भगवत गीता है उसको डिपॉजिट कर देना. That's it. भगवान के जो बड़े बड़े संत है, शंकराचार्य जी एक्सेट्रा, उनके जो वाक्य उपनिषद एक्सेट्रा, the things that are touching us, deposit it inside. Don't let it go under any circumstances. This is called Murti Pratishta. Murti Pratishta means to take the words of the Lord and place them inside our heart. Pratishthit kar dena. तो वो निकलेगा ही नहीं. It will not come out. Our ahankar is too strong. That is why this doesn't happen. But if we leave the ahankar aside, then Bhagwan ka sakshatkar, it will open up automatically. And then eventually when we're sitting in silence, sitting carefully, we're just sitting, even if you're just sitting with your eyes closed for 2 minutes, divya alaukik darshan hota hai isme. Divya, jo 3 avastha hai, jagrat, sapna, sushupti, isme alaukik darshan hote hain. That's what I was saying before. The rishis are sitting, they can close their eyes just for 30 seconds and go into galaxies. They can see the galaxies. Brahmand sab dikhta hai. Brahmand se bhi par bahut kuch dikhta hai. If they want to see those things. It is called akhanda alaukik panu. It is a very uppar level ki baat hai wo. They don't need to go anywhere. Everything has become samatva, as the Gita says. Koi maan kare, apman kare. None of that holds any. It's like even if somebody spits on the individual who has $500 billion, the person spitting on that person is the poor person spitting on this rich person. That the richness doesn't go away because somebody spit on that person. तो ये संसार में जो सब मनुष्य है, most of them are, unfortunately, they're in that poverty state. And they don't understand what is the mahima of the great sages. इसीलिए संत की इतनी कृपा होती है, वो see, this is why संत की कृपा इतनी होती है, they bless everybody, they are not internally affected by all of the terrible things that come their way, the real saints, and they bless. They do their work in the world. So many examples are there. So many, but they are not disturbed. They are doing it as a sevan, and they remain in their richness of realization. That is the Upanishad Mahavakya. Soham Tattvamasi Ayam Atma Brahma Pragnananam Brahma Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. They live in that super consciousness, like that billionaire who lives in that $500 billion mental vritti. Doesn't matter where they are. Doesn't matter where they go. They're sitting in a plane or a helicopter or a rickshaw. It doesn't make any difference. They are who they are. ऐसी स्थिति है. ऐसी स्थिति हमारी भी हो सकती. Okay, I don't know.
There's one last,
Bolo.
In your experience, doing japa with closing eyes gives you concentration more, or open eyes and doing?
So yes.
Whether you do it loud or in your mind.
Right. So you'll see that with the open eyes, when you start with the जो भगवान की जो मूर्ति है, उसकी धारणा करनी है. Like take Bhagavan Krishna with the flute, right? Remember we talked about this before. You have the flute, Bhagavan Krishna with the flute, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, or any Krishna mantra, and you have Shri Radhika ji with Bhagavan Krishna. Vame yasya sita radha, shirishya yasyasi vakshasi, vrindavana viharam tam Sri Krishna mrudi chinte. Bhagavan Krishna ke hriday mein Lakshmi ji hai, and the left side is Radhika ji. Right? So what does that mean? So when we are doing dhyan, then we start with bhajan kirtan, we start with the mantras like this, we keep our eyes open. Bhagwan ke sath sambandh karna hai. Then the mantra that we're speaking, we could speak a little louder. It's okay, no problem in the beginning. And then as it goes on, slow it down, make it softer. And then eventually it just goes into the mind. Man mein hi hum bol sakte at the higher level. That's how it goes. That is how the sadhana is done. So mantra jap, you can do. It's always good to have, we want to do so much jap, so much sadhana. This is all very good. But eventually none of that will matter. None of that will make any difference at that point. It's the difference, like when we're doing sadhana, it's like the person who is trying to accumulate wealth. Okay, I have now 10,000 in my bank account. Now I have 20,000. Now I have this much, this much, this. At some point, the $500 billion guy person, क्या job में? Job में, there's no job to earn any money anymore. It's just एक लीला है, एक play है, एक आनंद है, बस. That we want to be in that state. That is the uttam dasha hai. We don't want to be doing sadhana. Forget about doing sadhana. Just drink the amrutam 100%. Just keep drinking it. Drink, meaning what? Not doing sadhana means that one is in absorption of murti, of the divinity. The absorption meaning what? Take a sponge, a dry sponge, and you put it inside a big bowl of water. Is the sponge saying, I'm going to try to absorb with a lot of effort? No. Its nature is to, it just immediately it absorbs the water. This is called absorption versus doing sadhana. बहुत फर्क है. भगवान को देखना है, absorb कर दीजिए सब कुछ. भगवान आ जाएंगे. Definitely. 100% गारंटी बात है. भगवान definitely आते हैं भक्त के पास once there is absorption. छोड़ना ही नहीं उनको. प्रश्न ही नहीं. You know, if the mind goes somewhere else, why mind is going there? It is going somewhere else simply because there isn't absorption. There isn't that level of mahima. There's still deficiency in realizing somebody who has the $500 billion and doesn't know what that means is thinking that is only $5,000. It's like, I'm just worldly example. भगवान की जो मूर्ति है वो क्या कौन है? That is the important thing. Scriptures क्या है? And as we absorb inside there, then the absorption, it just grows. You know, Ram Ratana Dhana Payo, Payo ji mene Ram Ratana Dhana Payo. Barabar, Dina Dina Badata Savayo. It increases. It increases. But remember, in its own natural way. It's not like all of a sudden, because all of a sudden, if that supreme reality, you cannot handle that. You know, mind can, so you cannot, if an ant is hungry, you cannot, put a massive laddu, 1,000-pound laddu on top of the ant. Here, eat this. The ant will be dead. It will die. You see, so we cannot handle that thing. Bhagavan gives us only what we can handle. ठीक है? और जब मन स्थिर हो जाता है, मन शांत हो जाता है, अखंड भक्ति जब आती है, the whole body, mind, senses are tuned into that, completely tuned into that. And then the activity continues. One reaches by the grace of God, gunatit, one rises above sattva gun. It's impossible to describe that. उसका description कोई कभी किसी ने किया नहीं, कोई कर भी नहीं सकता. It's not possible to describe what is beyond sattva gun. It is nirgun brahman. भगवान का धाम है वहाँ. Or that is not possible to describe. That is a matter of वो भगवान ही स्वयं बताते कि वो क्या है. ऐसी सब अलौकिक बात है. Amazing questions, so. All right, let's do our pratna.